Several people were shot overnight during a gathering near a park in the city's Oakland neighborhood.
It's one of dozens of shootings in Chicago during the holiday weekend. Judy Wang is live from police headquarters with more.
CPD will release the official numbers tomorrow morning. We counted 50 people shot, 8 of those people killed so far this holiday weekend. That is since Friday evening. At least 3 of the weekend incidents were those with multiple victims, including this morning's shooting, which happened in a South Side park. That shooting occurred in Ellis Park just after 1 this morning, just steps from the University of Chicago Charter School. Police were in that area responding to a disturbance when they heard gunfire. They found 5 people shot near 36 and Cottage Grove. The victims included a 17-year-old boy who is in critical condition at the University of Chicago Hospital.
At what point will we start to actually have an honest conversation about why they monetizing crime inside of Chicago? We know that this is coming. We know that when the weather changes and it gets warm, or when it's a holiday, or when people is not at work and they're not busy, that the people in Chicago and the people across multiple cities across the United States of America is going to be absolutely obsessed with killing each other. How many more 17-year-old boys needs to be murdered? And let's be very clear, right? Because I will be holding Brandon Johnson accountable in this video like I always do, because he's an elected official and he's paid for with taxpayer dollars. And he's fighting the Trump administration from bringing the necessary reinforcements to preserve life. And if Black lives matters, or any lives matters, American lives matters in any community, then that means that you have to do everything to preserve that life. If it really matters to you, it's not about whether or not you juking the stats in crime. It's not about whether or not it's a political thing. You put politics aside, you put everything aside if that is your job to preserve life. Educate, preserve life, public safety, make sure that people have great public transportation, inviting businesses in, creating a business environment instead of raising taxes and property taxes where people are losing their home and they stealing them from Crook County. You know what I'm saying? They call it Crooked County because so many people lose their homes to the city of Chicago that reissues it back onto the market under the guise of getting a cheap home so that they can collect property taxes from it. And this person is just continuously fighting. And of course, we got to hold the parents accountable. I'm going to get to that also. But why would they be fighting the Trump administration from coming into Chicago and stopping crime similarly to how they did over in D.C.? Why has this become a cultural norm where we fight back against things that's not best for us? And that's a question to you guys in the chat. I would love for you guys to give me that insight because, number one, yes, I do think that the parents are the culprit and the culture is the culprit. And anything that is happening after 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're 17 years old out on the streets. I just did a previous report yesterday how drive-bys right across the street from the Chicago police station got multiple people injured. They say over 8 people has been killed so far, and it's not over. Let's be clear. It's not over. We still got last night. We still got tonight because it's Labor Day weekend as of the recording of this video. And, it's more opportunity for us to put together these stats. And, while the mayor is over there playing the drums at a Chicago fest or something like that, it seemed as though, he would be making sure that he'd been working with the Trump administration to try to, invite and coordinate and provide them an opportunity for them to be able to park their vehicles and trying to figure out exactly where the most crime is happening and using their data and statistics, even though they pulled out a shot spotter to identify exactly where all of the bullets are going off of so that the police can respond accordingly. And even though they're down over 2,000 police officers and they need all of the reinforcements that they can get, what they're doing is they're playing with the budget, right? You got a $1.15 billion, I'm sorry, I don't want to misstate, $1 billion, another year budget deficit that they're projecting, which obviously we know that they project down. He's trying to take out high interest loans so that they can try to give budgets for the schools because they $734 million in the hole. And he's fighting Trump also at the same time to prevent him from coming in and helping. And so instead of working with the Trump administration and the federal government to try to figure out how to do what's best for Chicago, they continue to monetize crime and they ask for federal dollars so that they can have community advocates. Let's continue into this, man.
Detectives are questioning someone in connection with the shooting. Police found 4 guns at the scene. Social media posts indicate a reunion party was taking place in the park. 7 people were shot about a mile away near 35th and State late Saturday. Police say a car with several people in it pulled up to a crowd. At least one person in that car opened fire. The victims were men and women, reported to be in good condition. CPD is also looking for suspects in a Humboldt Park shooting that wounded 4 people Sunday morning. This was also a drive-by incident with the shooters firing on a crowd that was outside from 2 cars at Haddon and California. Crime scene techs found nearly 70 shell casings. Now, the weekend victims also include a 14-year-old boy. He appeared to be the youngest victim so far this weekend. He was shot and wounded in Garfield Park. Now, according to our count, the numbers we have so far may have surpassed last year's total for Labor Day weekend. Last Labor Day weekend, a total of 31 people were shot. Outside police headquarters.
But crime is down, y'all. Because see, you got to start depending on getting your own statistics and your own data, because we know that they are reclassifying exactly what crime looks like. So now these local entities are having to do their own footwork to figure out exactly what crime looks like, because we know that the mayor and the governor, who is not even in Chicago on a regular basis, we know that the mayor and the governor is going to tell you that crime is down and that they were anticipating having a more peaceful weekend than what they had in years past. And we all know that that's a farce. We all know that that's fake. And, meanwhile, you got the people that's actually living in Chicago and they are crying out for help. They've been crying out for help since before the Biden administration, all throughout the Biden administration. The only time that you had a temporary drop in homicides was when the pandemic happened and everybody had to basically stay in. And then the cities was cool with that, because not only because they use that in the future, but they could also leverage that pandemic money in order to continue to fill in the budget gaps and the holes that they was going to have. And so that was the litmus for y'all to be able to then get in Brandon Johnson instead of Lori Lightfoot. So you just replaced her with a worse option. He has no business experience. Obviously, he's not good at politics because he doesn't know how to work with people, but let alone people from the other side of the aisle. And now you have an extraordinary amount of crime that's taking place inside of Chicago, and all of the data and the statistics are not even in. Think about this for a second. 8 people die over a weekend. 50 plus shootings so far. Right before the Trump administration, which means that they had an opportunity to demonstrate exactly how much they were on top of things. But see, they are not in the crime prevention business. They are in the making sure that we can get money so that we can continue to address the symptoms or the problems when it comes to crime, but they're just addressing the symptoms. They're not actually addressing the problem itself. You see what I'm saying? They're treating it, and they're just waiting for you to kill somebody so that you can continue to keep police officers more employed and detectives employed on trying to solve for crime. And they're not solving for anybody, because the only thing that they had in all 50 of these shootings is one person that they were questioning. One person that they were questioning, 0 arrests. And obviously we know that there ain't going to be no convictions. And they'll probably be able to get out of jail with the Safety Act. Who knows? Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.